Okay, colleagues, we're going to try to be respectful, get everybody out by 6. What my plan is to make sure that the people who are here, that we hear from them, are people who are not paid to be here, first of all, is our priority. And then secondly, those who've come from 100 miles or more, even if they were paid to be here. So,
well, then they get paid twice if they come back, so they may not mind.
So could I please bring up Claire Paris, Eric Squires, Rob Bruce, and Gina Royale. On deck will be Jim Dorrigan, John Mangan, and Paul Danner. And then Lee Mercer after that, and Joel Fisher after that. Ms. Paris, please proceed.
Chairman Shields, Vice Chair George, and committee members, my name is Claire Paris, and I worked as an insurance claims adjuster for 10 years, first for Allstate Insurance and then for a smaller company called Grange Insurance out of Seattle. Senator Shields asked me to offer some insight into the daily pressures and the structure of the claims environment at an insurance company. In general, claims adjusters are encouraged to close as many files as they open every month. Every time an accident happens, an insurance company is forced to take money out of their accounts where it is earning money on investments and put it into a reserve account where the money is held until that particular claim is settled. Money sitting in reserve accounts cannot be invested and therefore is considered a liability. Insurance companies don't make money collecting insurance premiums from insured. They make money through investments, and they try to maximize their investments at all times. At Allstate, I settled claims for insureds and claimants who had totaled their cars. Most of the claims I handled were pretty cut and dry. Most insurance policies state they will pay fair market value for a vehicle, which was determined using a data service company that compiled ads from local newspapers for vehicles similar to the lost vehicle in miles, condition, and amenities. This data service would compile the information, arrive at a value, and we would offer that to the injured party. Most of these claims were settled without disagreement. However, there was an entire segment of Allstate's insureds that fell under a separate company called Allstate Indemnity Company. This company insured higher risk individuals who had poor credit and or poor driving histories. These insureds were often not made whole by their insurance policy. For example, I settled several claims in which the insured had purchased a vehicle that was moderately priced, installed an expensive custom stereo system in the car, and the claim was reported because the stereo was stolen. The car was totaled because the amount of money to replace the stereo exceeded the value of the car. Unfortunately, their insurance policy had a limit on what was paid for on the stereo, so the car would be totaled, a payment would be made to the insurance lender, and the insured would no longer have a car. Often they owed more money on their car than what their insurance policy paid, so they would be financially more strapped than before filing their insurance claim. This is just one small example of what I handled most of the time, which was property and casualty on the property and casualty side. But in this particular case, if the insured or claimant disagreed with our evaluation of the value of the vehicle, they could insist on appraisal by an independent third party. If the insured still disagreed with the value, they were obliged to hire an appraiser themselves and pursue arbitration, which was a costly alternative. Insureds and claimants without means would rarely pursue this option as they had little financial ability to do so. Many of these insureds would become so frustrated with this process that they would file complaints with the insurance commissioner, but those complaints were simply sent back to us, the insurance company, to the manager of that particular department, whoever it pertained to. And a letter was written back to the commissioner explaining how the claim was being handled, and no further action was taken. This is just one small example. So if we extrapolate, you can see that as far as insurance claims go on the property and casualty side, the insurance industry is relatively efficient at helping the average person recover from an average loss, but anyone who falls outside of the average is at risk of not being made whole and having little recourse. Any questions?
So, Ms. Paris, what you're testifying to, it goes to Senator Monis Anderson's question of,
exactly.
Tell me, was Allstate fearful of the insurance division?
No, it was a joke, honestly. And to be fair, I haven't worked there for 10 years, so I don't know if they have some fear of it now. But the insurance commissioner would just send us a letter, the manager would respond with a letter, and that would be the last that we'd hear of it.
last one. Mr. Squires.